you go, yes, yes, yes. And then everyone's like,
Maybe
oh,
yes,
you
Helen,
you've got a
right?
recording.
This
Nope,
particular email
nope,
has been
didn't do
forwarded
that.
by one of my colleagues, and I was just
All
checking.
right. I'm gonna.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we'll kick off. Oh, no, okay. Thank you. Welcome to today's session. Okay, we will get started. So welcome to Hi Rishita, April's Resilience Business
Hi, Sarah.
Continuity
Hello,
Leaders
everyone.
session. I saw your name yesterday, Rishita. I think the first time we're recording these sessions, but the content and the format is exactly as it always has been. So it is
Maybe
all
yes, Helen,
around
right? This particular email has been forwarded by one of my colleagues, and I was
having a
just
conversation
checking.
about a particular topic.
Yeah,
We
thank
have
you.
Gary today who's going to be presenting.
Thank you.
Welcome to today's session. Okay. We will start with welcome introductions as we always do, just to make sure we know who's on the call. April's. So, as I say, welcome introductions in a minute. Business continuity. We then have Gary, who is my growth strategy specialist, helping me grow my business, and he's going to talk about resilient growth strategy for challenging times, which we're all facing as we speak, and then just a closing thing in terms of future conversations. So, as always, we have my Daniel here to help us. She's sat under my desk looking for food as I speak, here to help us do introductions. I'm going to go down my list and I'm going to start with Elangovan. If you could just give us a quick intro, who you are, what your role is, and just let us know that to start off the session.
So I'm Elangovan, working as a business continuity associate consultant for Nokia. So just last week I moved out of Nokia. Before that I worked as a associate consultant for biggest pharmaceutical company from Switzerland. So I completed my ISO 23001 certification and risk management certificate, third-party risk management certification, and cloud security professional. So these are certifications I have completed. So I am looking for another one opportunity in business continuity and disaster recovery management. So that's all.
Okay, thank you for that. Gary.
Hello, everybody. Afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Yes, I'm Gary Salters, the founder of Go Succeed, and we help businesses grow. We're also now a franchise organization, so we're recruiting franchisees across the world to help us do more good with the brand Go Succeed.
Rishita.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Helen. Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm Ruchita Kamboj, based out of India, working in the global operational resilience team of XIXL. It's almost been 14 plus years in the industry. I started my career in insurance and looking forward for more insights from the fellow professionals. Thank you.
Rishita. Great.
Hi, everyone. Chris Marshall. I'm based in North Carolina in the US. I work for Nemours Children's Health, which is a pediatric healthcare system, predominantly based in Florida and Delaware. And I'm the Senior Director of Business Continuity and Resilience.
Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob Jump. I'm in near Reading, in a village called Theale, near Reading in England. I'm a governance risk compliance consultant, also a security architect, working within UK government, central government, and also for companies looking to gain traction within government. Looking forwards to learning more about business and, more importantly, about resilience personally. Thank you.
Rob. And Sarah.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So my name's Sarah Henderson. I run a public relations agency called Purely Public Relations. and probably 50% of my time is spent supporting businesses, brands and charities going through issues and crises, because sadly that happens a lot. So I'm there to try and protect their reputation so that they hopefully come out unscathed. So yeah, got a vested interest in this group.
Thanks, Sarah. And we've just had someone else join, so we were just doing quick introductions. Amira, if you just want to quickly introduce yourselves to the group, don't mind.
Yeah, hello, thank you. And sorry for the technical difficulties. I cannot open my camera, but I will introduce myself. My name is Amira and I'm from Indonesia. I'm excited to looking for our discussions today and looking for some insightful lessons to learn about the continuity and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Amira. Okay, I'm going to hand over now to Gary. Let me just stop sharing and I'll let you kick it off, Gary.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
I couldn't for a minute. Yeah.
Loud and clear.
And I had pause on the speaker, and I'm speaking. So yeah, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Salters from Go Succeed. Yes, thank you, Helen, for having me here today to talk about resilience in kind of sales strategy. A little bit about myself. I founded Go Succeed 4 years ago with the mission to help small SME, small medium-sized businesses, enterprises, to really help them grow. Because what I find is that lots of businesses get to a certain stage and then it really builds back to resilience. They don't have the processes or the sales to kind of help them grow, and they don't have those in place. So what we teach small business is to act like a big business. And at the moment, I suppose, the times that we're in and all of the news stories with Donald Trump and whatever, your views are on tariffs or whatever, lots of people and lots of businesses that we deal with talk about, oh, it's really bad right now, my sales are going down, and people often get into a little rut, and that affects their mindset. So I thought today I'd talk a little bit about mindset, what we do as a business and how we work with our clients, and then give you some strategies to really help you grow your business in terms of being resilient and keep pushing forward with your business, and how you bring in business, because in these times it's really, really important kind of to ignore the outside noise of everything that's going on in the world and keep focused on what we do best, which is growing our business and making sure that you're resilient for all your resilience plans in the future. So I will share my screen. Let me bring this up. Did that appear for everyone okay? Yeah. Perfect.
Yep.
Let me present from the current slide. There we go. Okay, so as I said, my business is Go Succeed. So yes, we have just this month, we have began franchising. We just offered our first franchisee their place here in the UK, and we showed at the International Franchise Show. So which was a big investment for us in terms of that. And people may say, oh, why would you do that in challenging times? But I believe that you've got to keep pushing forward, especially in times where people are talking about recession or things are going on and there's changes in the world and there's challenges to business. So today, really, what we're going to talk about is the golden table. So how to strategize to maximize. But what I really wanted to start off with first was back in 2018, I met this speaker called Marcus Child. I'm not sure if you know of him, but he's a big speaker on the UK scene. When I was working for a large franchise organization, I was a director and working with their franchisees, and he gave us this talk on self-talk. And really, it's all about really, really important, I suppose, in times to be resilient, about the self-talk that you give to yourself and the power of self-talk. Because the stories we tell ourselves and the way we speak to ourselves directly impact the state we're in. So if we take in all of that negative energy that's going out in the world, then guess what? That really does affect us. It really affects you know, what we do, what we say, and it affects our state of mind. And that directly impacts how we perform. Our state of mind impacts how we perform. Because if we keep telling ourselves that, you know, all of this bad stuff's going on, I'm not going to make any sales, well, guess what? That really links back to our performance and how we perform, because actually that self-talk talks back to ourselves and we go, oh, you know, everything's really, you know, bad out there, you know, I can't make no sales, nobody wants to buy everything, everyone's not buying. So we tell ourselves that. And then we meet with potential clients, we meet with potential customers, then they can read that. So we're not confident, we're not ourselves, we're not those people that go out there and sell. Whereas if we have that self-talk, you know, and that comes back again to our self-talk. So then we get caught in this virtual circle that, you know, then you lose that sale, someone doesn't buy up, and then you keep then telling yourself, you know, actually it's because of this, this, and this, and all of these things then feed back into our state of mind, and they really go then back to our performance. And it's really, really interesting when we work with clients. We work with tens of clients, you know, we've worked with over 100 clients in the last 4 years. And it really is important about self-talk. And it's important about the things that we tell ourselves. And back in 2018, I was at this talk with him, and he asked everyone in the room in a Vistage group to write down 3 things that you want to achieve with your life. So 3 big things. And my number one thing was to have my own business at the time. I was employed as a director, and to have a franchisable business. So that was 7 years ago. And back then, it probably felt like, will that ever happen? My second goal was to be financially free and not to be reliant on having to go to work every day, to be able to have something that could give us some passive income. And my third thing was then to have a place in France and Ibiza. So, you know, the exciting thing for me is that we're on our way. You know, I wrote that down and I put it in my wallet. I actually don't have my wallet with me today. I normally carry it for presentations because I use my Apple Pay all the time. But I wrote that down and I folded up in this piece of paper he gave me, and I carried that around with me, and I still carry that around with me today, you know, every time. And I open it every now and again, I read it, and I did. And back in 2021, I took the leap of resigning from my post and starting Go Succeed. So really, the power of self-talk is really, really, really important. Yes, we'll talk a little bit about strategies and the things that you can implement, but really, you know, in sales and anything in life, to be resilient, you really have to focus on your self-talk. You really have to focus on, you know, who you are in your business, what you're doing. You know, you are the expert and you can really help people. And that's really, really important. And when you do that and you have that self-talk and you're positive about how you can help people, that comes across, and that is in our state of mind. And then people are like, they want to buy from us, because then they can then see, you know, that you really want to help them and you have that positive energy that they need to kind of in their business to help their business, whether it's in resilience or whatever that you're working in. And so self-talk is really, really important. You know, for me, that's it, the biggest thing that we do. I'm always writing down where we are. I always say to every one of my clients, what is the goal of the goal? Yeah, so we've got these goals, we've got sales targets, whatever. But what is the goal of the goal? What is your goal of your goal? My goal of my goal is to, you know, have that place in France, have that place in Ibiza, and then we're working back on it with our strategies in order to get there. So one thing, you know, where do you dream to be this time next year? What is it you want to achieve in your business? Or what is the business that you work for? What is it they want to achieve? And how can you do this? And it's about really working it back. And what I often say to people, how would you feel if you achieved that goal? You know, for me, you know, last month, you know, walking up to the International Franchise Show, which we showed out on Friday, it was, you know, setting up on Thursday. It was a real moment when I was there with my husband. It was like a real moment of, wow, now my husband's in the business, you know, we're growing. We've got lots of other people that help us in the business. And I was like, this is just unbelievable. You know, if I asked myself 7 years ago, would I see myself showing at the International Franchise Show, I probably would have said no, but I've carried that around and it's always kind of been there, and it made me take action in terms of making that first step. That first step is the really, really important thing that you can do. Just doing one thing, one tiny thing, is the big thing that can make things happen. And there is another presentation which I show, and I will also share it with Helen to send it out. But this guy has a set of dominoes. He's a little tiny domino, which is, you know, you lift with a you have to lift it up with like little tweezers and set it, and it knocks one down, double its size, double its size, double its size, double its size. And 27 down would be the size of the Empire State Building. So those little changes, those little steps lead to big things because they lead to the next step. And then that helps you achieve your goal. So what I would say, if you want to do anything from this call today, if you take anything away from, what I say, and is go and write down 3 things about what you want, what your business, for your personal, write them down, carry them around with you every day, because they're a constant reminder that what we're doing is for something greater for ourselves and to help us achieve. So why strategy matters. So I thought I'd move into this. So obviously, when you've got that state of mind, when you're positive, you've got those goals written down, then it's about setting the strategy, setting the direction and focus for your business. It's really, 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 really important. A clear strategy sets a defined path and prioritizes helping to align the efforts and resources towards achieving specific goals, preventing you to drift and ensuring you're always working towards your larger objectives. And that is really, really important. When we work with clients, we work with Helen, it's about writing that down. It's about the accountability. It's about setting actions daily, monthly, weekly, and all those little actions that will take you to the next level. And then, enhances your decision making. So when things happen like, in the world today, tariffs and, business and the stock market going down, it really gives you, enhances your decision making. With your robust strategy in place, you can make an informed decision more efficiently. And you've got the strategic framework, which offers a basic for evaluating opportunities and challenging and ensuring your decision support your overarching objectives. Because we have to pivot, we have to kind of keep moving with whatever happens. Because as I say to people, going back to that state of mind, things happening in the world, you can't control it. We can't control what countries do with tariffs. We can't control that. But what we can control is what we do in our own business and the decisions that we make, adapting and changing to that and making sure that we keep moving forward with our strategy, which gives us resilience in our business, which makes sure that we can keep employing the people that we have and we keep driving forward. And ultimately, drive growth and competitive advantage. So, if you've got a really great strategy, it not only provides guides to your daily tasks, but it positions your business for long-term growth and success by identifying and capitalizing on your unique competitive advantages in the market and the opportunities. And that's what it's all about. The strategy is super, super important. Get the goal, have the positive mindset, and set down the strategy. And people often say to me, oh, it'll cost me a lot of money, advertising, doing whatever. There's lots of things you can do. But I would say, if you are advertising, keep advertising. If those are the things that you do, what happens often in recession, companies retract and think, actually, I'm going to reduce my spending. And then their sales go down even more. That's the time when we need to double down on our strategies, because those are the companies and businesses that really stand out. That's what drives growth, because we become more visible. And in that world, because companies do move back and draw back a little from everything that they do, the companies that are out there really doubling down, pushing forward, are the companies that get noticed. Because obviously in a bouncing economy, lots of people are doing it, there's a lot of noise. But in a retracting economy, other businesses do kind of draw back, don't do as much. So actually it's easier to get your message out there. And what's happening with my slide? There we go. Yeah, so setting a clear strategy is the key to any successful strategy. So having that target. If you don't have a target, is a bit muddled. I often talk about it like, a sat nav. If you don't tell the sat nav where you're going, you're not going to get there. Or you try to get there without the sat nav, you may get there in the end, but it takes a lot longer. But if you have that strategy, you have the daily, the weekly, the monthly habits of the things you're going to do, you're going to hit that target much more quickly. So I thought I'd share what we do with our clients. So when we work with clients, we build our strategy table. And this is basically, we set down what it is we want to achieve, what we have achieved. We look at our average order value, our average transaction value, and then we look at the different sales channels and the average order value, which is AOV on there, what it is. And then we look at the leads, how many leads we get from that sales channel, and then we look at the conversion rate of the deal and the value. And then that creates the actions for us. So for instance, networking, LinkedIn, socials, all of these things, cold calling, as I like to call it, where, you know, you go out and you call warm leads, running events, speaking at events like this, Google Ads, looking at all of those different areas of your sales channels, and, you know, seeing what is your average value. So what is the actions that you need to do? So in this instance here, networking, you know, your average order value is £500. You need 20 leads from networking to really complete 2 deals, 10%. So the value is £1,000. So what are we going to do with that? What is the thing that we're going to do every month that we set out? Go to 4 networking events, meet 5 connections, and set a date to connect with each person after. Have a one-to-one, have a meeting, go there with a strategy, go there with a purpose. So you're just not going to these networkings, having, you know, a great time, you know, having the breakfast or the champagne or whatever it is they have. You're actually going there with purpose because you want to drive your business, and you also want to really push forward and make great connections. And again, it's the same as this. Obviously, you know, looking at LinkedIn, the conversion rates will be a lot lower. So you may need 200 leads reaching out on LinkedIn and doing it to get 1 deal. So what are we doing? How are we doing that? Connect with 50 people each week, send a personalized intro, use Sales Navigator, all of those tools to be able to get meetings with people. And the key thing I always say with this is never sell to people when you're doing these strategies. Just be booking in one-to-ones, understand their business so that you can sell your value. We just go back to that. So we haven't did the whole table there because we would be here all day. But I think you get the idea. And one of the other ones I often talk about is strategic partners. Who are they? You know, so an example that I always give to people when they ask me, what is a strategic partner? Well, if I owned a cake shop here in Brighton, my #1 strategic partner would be go out and find all the event planners, the wedding planners, and tell them about the cakes we do. Because guess what? When they're planning events, planning weddings, they will introduce those people to me. And it's about going out and thinking, right, who are the people? Those are leads, and how will they bring deals into my business? And yeah, that is it. I thought we'd be really super quick and sharp because just to see where we are. And yeah, any questions?
I was going to say, I think the mindset thing that Gary talked about, I've done that at one of the gold mining sessions that he runs, and it really does help you to think about, you know, what that future looks like. And I have that bit of paper sat around that includes things like paying off my mortgage and retiring at a certain point, because that I think it gives you that, you know, continued focus for what you want to achieve and why we do all what we do.
Yeah, I think, you know, like you say, having that in the background, but it is all about our mindset is the bit that keeps us resilient. Because we talk about resilience of business, about planning, you know, if a factory burns down or a van goes off the road. But what if, you know, something happens in the economy and our sales drop? What are we going to do? What is the strategy? What are the levers that we're going to pull to really kind of push that forward? You know, because that is really important because, you know, you need to do that. Chris.
Thanks very much, Gary. I mean, I think you know, I was very interested in setting the strategy and how you get there. Excuse me. One of the things I think also to help you get there is around your personal resilience piece, is how you look after your physical and mental health that adds into that. And that, you know, is a good foundation as well as the other approaches that you've put there. So, you know, I think you can't deny the one as if you were building a business, and I've never built one, you know, but it would be at the expense of that if you denied those things as well and had a more holistic approach.
Yeah, and it goes back, what you're saying goes back to that self-talk, you know, going to the gym, you know, me going to the gym, all of that gives you a really positive mindset. You know, in January for me, you know, last year was crazy. We took some time out, we went to Barbados, and, you know, I didn't go to the gym, I didn't do that. And when I came back, it really does affect your mental health, how you feel. And I was like, oh, you know, we don't have leads, we don't have this, you know, and it's really, really tough. And it's like, right, let's get back to the gym. Let's set that. What is this mental self-talk? We're launching our franchise, we're doing it. Let's get back to do it. And it's really, really important. That balance, and I always say this to clients, is really, really important. Because if what happens is when you're building a business or even in work, if you don't have that clear strategy, that's where you can become overwhelmed. And then that's what again then fills you, and you feel kind of, you know, super overwhelmed by everything. It's all like a bit crazy, and it affects your mental health. And then, you know, we overwork ourselves, and then we do, you know, have that kind of, you know, that health where it really deteriorates. We don't go to the gym, and we get into that spiral, and all of the noise is going outside in the world with the bad news, whatever it is, that comes into it. We're not going to the gym. We don't feel the best. And that impacts what we do, whether we're in employment or whether we're working. That impacts everything, you know, to the point where some people, you know, need to take time out. But I often say to my clients, when we're building businesses with clients, is work on a 10-month basis. You know, set your strategy in 10 months. You need 2 months of the year where, you know, you're going to have some time out, Christmas, August, all of that. It's really, really, really important to go and do that, really, because that is, as you say, as important. Your health, super important in order to be able to do that. Any other questions?
It wasn't a question, it was more of a sort of a statement or a thank you. I loved your analogy about the dominoes and the 27 dominoes to the Empire State. It's lovely when you put it's the other one I've had is like the golf course and doubling the bet every hole, but it makes it more for me as a visual person. It's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and there is a video on YouTube of that. It's really quite incredible. You know, the one on YouTube is really, really great in terms of being able to visualize it. It's like, wow. Any other questions? Or what I can do for you is, as I've said to Helen, anyone that wants, we have our growth checklist that we will give to you. You can use it in your business. Anybody wants to book a time in with me, we also at Go Succeed offer businesses, you know, 1 hour online strategy session. If you've got any questions about your business, we do that. We don't hard sell at Go Succeed. That's not what we do. We're really here to give value and help people. And as I always say, if people want to work with us, that they have to want to work with us. It's that mindset again.
Great, fantastic. Thank you very much, Gary. Really appreciate that, as always. And thank you everyone else for participating. I think we've got a few people that are dropping off as we get to 1 o'clock. So before those people do leave, or I know everyone's gone. So I just wanted to say there's a few things that I put in the chat. So the first thing is just a link to the YouTube page that I've set up. So that, as I say, this session will go on there, and there are other videos that I'm recording and putting up on there to do that. And the other thing, and Rob, you're already aware of this, but I'm starting to record a podcast to talk about resilience topics. So I will also drop in a link for you to book time with me if you're interested in being a guest on my podcast. It's we're booking people in at the moment, and obviously I'll also put the badge in for this month for attending the session. So you know, really hoping that people will take some time to look at the stuff on YouTube. It's a growing thing. There's not a lot on there yet, but things are going to be launched over the next few weeks. It's all around just, again, educating people around risk, resilience, and these topics, similar to this group, just continuing the conversation. So as always, appreciate people joining. The session that we're going to have in May will be a little bit of a case study review of the Heathrow outage, talking about interdependencies and kind of how that event happened and what we can all learn from that event. So we'll talk a bit about that, and then we have Sarah will be participating and leading the session in June, talking about crisis communications and PR. So we've got a couple of really interesting sessions coming up in the next few months for this group as well.
Really exciting. Thank you.
Helen. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, everybody. And thanks again, Gary, for a really good session. And see you all again in a month's time.
See you then.
guys. Happy Easter.
Thank you very much.
Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Happy
Have a lovely
Easter.
break.
Bye.
Thanks.
Sure.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Is that okay for you?
It was. Let me just